Okay, so I have an issue with my Super Chief Limited that I had to find a solution for, just like my Chief Dark Horse. Let me show you what I got. So this is my wrecked 2022 Super Chief Limited. We started disassembling the bike, we took the saddlebags off, and we got the front end kind of in progress right here, but we have right here is a damaged front rim. That rim is damaged in multiple places, and what happened during this accident, I didn't wreck the bike, but the wheel was jammed against the rectifier, the oil filter, which caused the oil leak, and I think it even pushed up against the starter. So that tire that was on this stock wheel, basically it has flat spots, which is no good. But the rim itself has bends on both sides. And I even reached out to a wheel repair person in my area, and I was just like, hey, can you fix this? And they was like, yeah, no, just buy another rim. So the problem with buying another rim for a 2022 Indian Chief, Super Chief, all these, because it's essentially the same bike, but they do have different setups. That wheel is $850, and I'm not spending $850 for no wheel. At least I'm not gonna spend it for a brand new wheel. Just to show you guys. Okay, so we got one bin right there, one bin right there. I'm gonna flip this over. I think the rotor is still good, actually, which is kind of surprising. I'm still gonna check the run out on it to make sure it's not, warped in any places. But we also have a major bin right there, and also a slight bin right there. So this is definitely more than what I guess a regular wheel repair person would want to repair, or even put their name behind, because it's not gonna be perfect. But also you see the flat spot there, flat spot there. The only time I would go out and buy a brand new rim is if I had to. But being that this rim possibly could be fixed, you never know if somebody can fix something. So my first train of thought is to find somebody to try and fix it, because it's not like the Chief Dark Horse's rim, which was cast aluminum, and it's literally snapped in like 5 different places. So I figured somebody could put that wheel on a machine and I guess bend it back to where it needed to be. But I'm sure it could be fixed, but at that point, the amount of money it would take to fix it, it would make sense to just buy a new one. Let me show you the Chief Dark Horse's rim. So this is the Chief Dark Horse's rim. You can see it's snapped there, entire piece missing there, there, except that's the only piece that's holding this hub on this wheel. But both of these are front wheels for my wrecked Indian Chiefs. So I bought 2 Indian Chiefs, one a Chief Dark Horse and the other a Super Chief, and ironically both of them had front end problems. The Super Chief had a bended up front end, the Chief Dark Horse had a bended up front end, and both of the back wheels were perfectly fine on both of these bikes. The issue is the Super Chief has a spoked wheel and the Dark Horse has a cast aluminum wheel. So I couldn't put these two together anyway, so I would still be buying one brand new wheel for one and one brand new wheel for the other. So I had to get creative. For the Chief Dark Horse, I decided to get used Chieftain wheels, and I had those wheels powder coated. So we're gonna be putting a different tire size on the front and the rear of the Chief Dark Horse. And the reason I went with that is because Indian's parts are kind of interchangeable. It's not all parts, you just have to kind of do some research on it to find out which parts kind of relate to each other. But it made sense to me to buy used wheels, because for the price of both of those wheels, I saved money by getting a different wheel setup, and I didn't have to buy a brand new front wheel. Now I do have a used rear wheel now that I'm probably going to sell, because I have no use for one cast aluminum wheel. So that kind of can eat into the cost of what I paid for the wheels that I had powder coated. And also I'm going to have to get those mounted on new tires, and also get new bearings for them. So it's going to be more custom. But again, I just couldn't fathom spending $850 on one brand new wheel, and it looked stock. So we had to be a little different, and we're going to get even more different with the Super Chief. So this is what Super Chief looks like right now. So hold that image in your head. And we have a 2021 Chieftain right here with this 19-inch rim. Dual rotor setup, looks really nice, right? Come on, baby. Okay, so here's my plan. Okay, I know you're not gonna be able to fully see this as it's gonna be, but just work with me here. What do you think about this? a chieftain wheel on a chief. Right? Right? Come on, like, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is a 19-inch chieftain wheel. So you might be thinking, Brandon, this is a dual rotor wheel. How is this gonna work on a Super Chief? Well, there's two ways you can go about this. You can either try to bridge into the existing braking system on Chief, because Chief is a one rotor braking setup, or you could do what I did and find a machine shop and basically build a spacer that goes around this, and you basically just put screws in here to block this off. So that is what I'm gonna be doing. And also the front wheel on the Chief Dark Horse, or the cast aluminum wheel that's on Chief, it is a 19-inch rim. So this is essentially the same wheel size. So we're just putting a different front wheel on the bike. It's just we're gonna have to make a block off plate for this. And also there's one more thing we can also try. This is a TPMS sensor, and this gives us tire pressure monitoring. If you didn't know, in the Ride Command on Chief, there is an option for TPMS. The regular Chief wheels and also the Barber wheels, or the Super Chief wheels as well, the spoked wheels, they do not come with a TPMS sensor. So now that we have the big touring wheels, we can actually see if this can work as well. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it is worth a try being that we have this set up. And just to confirm that I'm not fully crazy about this idea, the stock rim size, or the stock tire size on a Chief Dark Horse is a 130/60 B19. And on the 21 Chieftain, the stock tire size is a 130/60 B19. It's the exact same wheel size, except one's more of a touring tire and the other one is, I guess, a cruising tire. So one's gonna have a longer lifespan on the tire. And also the rotor, it's the same part on the Chieftain as it is the Dark Horse, the screws, all that. I think the only difference is the Chieftains with the big touring bikes use ABS rings versus the wheel speed sensor on the Chief lineup that gives the ABS information and the speed and the miles. So this can work. All right, and we have a rear Chieftain wheel that's gonna sit back here. Can't fully see the vision, but yeah, we have both wheels to make this complete. Okay, so this is the rear Chieftain wheel that we're gonna be putting on the Super Chief. This rim, or this tire size, is different from the Super Chief spoke wheel. So the stock tire size on the Super Chief is a 180/65 B16, and this Dunlop Elite 3 is a 180/60 B16. So the aspect ratio is gonna be a little different. I'm not sure what the A-Bond tires that I'm going to be putting on Super Chief are going to be, because I'm going to be putting front and rear tires on here, so I'm not going to be using this old Dunlop. So it will be a little different. However, I did decide to do one more thing with this since we're going to be putting new wheels on the Super Chief. I went back and forth about this multiple times on if I was going to put the bags back on the Super Chief, because that's what makes it somewhat of a mini touring bike. However, now that we're putting Chieftain wheels on this bike, I really don't want to cover up that rear wheel, because these baggers, they come with really nice front wheels in it, and they have a matching back wheel, but you never get a chance to see the wheel. Okay, Chieftain, right? Cool. Look at that. Nice front wheel, right? Boom. Back wheel. You can't see it. And what's crazy is that wheel is what's up under there. So I don't want to cover this up this time. Getting this fixed really isn't that big of a deal. Just take it to a reupholstery shop and they could probably patch this up and make it look pretty. So perfectly good bags that you can put on and take off at a moment's notice. Probably just gonna sell them. I don't know. What do y'all think? I have about $950 invested into these Chieftain wheels, both front and back. Each one costs, let's just say $450. Found them on eBay. I will say I did look for a front spoked wheel for the Super Chief before I even started this. I was just gonna put a regular wheel on the Super Chief. I found this one person selling one. They kept giving me the runaround. Then they tried to take me off eBay, go through email to do it. I've done that before, but they just kept giving me the runaround as if they didn't want to sell it. I saw somebody else selling both the front and the rear wheel. I think one of you guys was selling those, if I remember correctly. I didn't need another spoked rear wheel. So because of that, I ended up doing the Chieftain deal. So the only thing I have left to do is still get tires, both front and back for the Chieftain, for the Chief, Super Chief, which is probably gonna cost another $400. And then I have to get that spacer made, possibly replace the bearings depending on how old those are. And you know, for I guess $1,200-1,300, we're gonna have a new set of wheels on this bike. To my knowledge, it's gonna look even more custom, and I don't think anybody has done so far. So if you do this, you'll be the first to do it if you get it done before me, but yeah, that's the plan. So that is the thought process on this so far. I think it would look even better if we were able to do the dual rotor setup and do the dual caliper setup and tie into this existing brake line. But yeah, we ain't gonna fool with that. We're just gonna keep it simple and do the Chieftain wheels. Now that I have a Chief Dark Horse rear wheel and a Super Chief rear wheel, more than likely I'm gonna sell those, because now I have rear wheels that I'm not doing anything with. Because in most cases, when these bikes come wrecked, it's the front wheel that takes all the blunt force and the back wheel tends to be okay. This whole thing started from me looking at the Super Chief, looking for a new wheel, and then me thinking, I wonder if those wheels off the Chieftain will fit on the Super Chief. And then I just went and compared the parts, and here we are today. We got the Chieftain wheels, and we're going to make this work. So I hope you got some value out of this about the various tire sizes, how a lot of these parts are interchangeable, and maybe you might look to do something similar to your motorcycle, even if it's of a different brand. So definitely let me know what y'all think about this down below. And if you have not already seen me take the Super Chief apart, you can click right here and check that video out. It's very interesting how wedged that tire was up against that rectifier and the oil filter, and then as soon as we took it off, we got a really good clear picture of how everything is. And also, I give away bikes at some point. So if you want to check out and see what I'm doing at this current moment, you can click right here and head over to my website. But as always, thanks for listening to my story, and if you're subscribed, I see you in the next one. Peace.